what's going on? This is Muriel from the Sunshine Family, and if you are looking into buying property in Costa Rica or buying land in Costa Rica, I'm gonna share what I would pay attention to if I had to do it all over again. And I bought property in Costa Rica. I have my own land in Costa Rica, and you hear a chainsaw in the background. Well, it's very important that you watch my full video to get my full message. I want to help you to know what to pay attention to when making a decision which property in Costa Rica or land in Costa Rica you're gonna buy or which you're not gonna buy. Now I'm gonna walk a little bit to the back of my property, and yes, you will hear noise in the background because my husband Dirk is working with a chainsaw. Now, why is that important for this video about buying land and property in Costa Rica? Well, that's exactly what I want you to pay attention to. Look, there is Dirk. I'm gonna stay a little bit behind. I literally fall over the mangoes. This is funny. I'm not gonna edit this. So what you have to pay attention to, later I'm gonna share the story about these mangoes. But okay, you hear this noise? This is my husband. This is my own tree. And he is not cutting it totally down. He is making it, how do you say that? More beautiful. He's just, how do you say that? He's cutting it so it gets more space. But it's noisy, right? And it's a little bit muddy here, so let me stand in the back. Perhaps you think, what's your point, Muriel? Why are you making this video with that bloody noise in the background? Well, if you are visiting properties and you have an idea of what you or your family need, you probably are looking into my other tips that I gave according to this topic, and I will link you to the other video about buying land in Costa Rica. I made several, but the most important one is, let's give you a little clickable link, this one. But watch this full video, okay? Besides all these things, is there water? Did you do due diligence? Do you have an attorney who checked if there are no debts on that land? Like, if there is an internet connection possible? Is there already electricity? Is there water? Yes or no? All these things is not what I want to pay attention to. What I want you to pay attention to, honestly, is what I would do all over again is to buy land with space. Why? Space over comfort of an existing house. Why? You hear this noise? Well, I don't mind. It's my own husband making the noise, right? He's doing something with a tree to make it more spacier and looks less messy. This is a house of Dirk's mom. But the thing is, because when you buy space, right, we have 5.5 acres, you basically buy the security that no stranger, or basically no stranger can build close to you and create noise close to you that you're not waiting for because it's not your own noise. And the fact is that Costa Rica is very popular amongst expats, and you're not the only one who is looking into buying property or buying land in Costa Rica. So if you forget to realize that you're probably not the only lot in your street that you're looking at. And if it's still empty, trust me, my street was kind of empty across my street, but there's lots created there. Now, I don't freaking mind because I can just build a new house in the back. This is one house, a casita that we've built. We have lots of space there. And if we build a house there, we are very far from the road. And we don't have any troubles that there's neighbors starting to live across my street because I have the space to move to the back. So I'm just saying, if you are looking for property and land in Costa Rica, realize that you want space over comfort, because comfort you can create. Of course, it depends on your situation, on your budget whatsoever. But if your budget allows it to buy a larger property, and sometimes, yeah, you need to open up your mind a little and seek into other areas that you probably wanted at first. Like, for example, if you want to come to Santa Teresa, where I bought my land close by, if you want to live at the ocean, the prices are way higher than where you live at the countryside where I live. I live about 7 to 10 minutes driving from Santa Teresa, depending on the state of the road. But my land was affordable for us back then, right? So I just want to highlight space over ready to settle in house can be an advantage, because if it's going to be way more crowdier in Costa Rica and I see more houses built every single week around me, then you don't want that if this is your house, that here is a neighbor building, or even next to your wall a neighbor is building. I see that happen. People were the first ones who bought a lot in an open field with cows, and now it's a busy street, house next to house next to house. And if you want to live like we live, well, I don't know if that's what, because you saw me falling over the mangoes, right? Okay, so I bought a mango farm with Dirk with 180 mango trees. By the way, we just had to cut one mango tree for that casita. And we did that on purpose because it's the route for the monkeys. We have 3-4 families of howler monkeys living on our property. Are they here? Perhaps I can show them. Actually, don't think they're here. It's the wind moving the trees and not the monkeys this time. So yes, definitely space over comfort. And this is just an interesting idea for you. I'm just thinking out loud because that's my mission. I want to teach you something, things that I have learned myself, how I would do things when I had to do them all over again. I'm happy to share them with you. If you have a specific budget and you have the choice, right? Let's say a property with a house on it, let's say a house on it, a small property, but there's a ready-to-go house on it, right? You have the money now to buy that, and it's like 1,000 square meter, or I don't know, 5,000 square meter property. A lot of people are, seduced by shiny object. It's just 1,000 square meter, but it has a ready-to-go house and everything, and I come from the big city, so it's always better. But realize then that probably you're gonna get neighbors who also buy a lot of 1,000 square meters, and they gonna build, and they going to cut down trees and make construction noise that you hear behind me, but way louder, and next to you and next to you. Better, what I suggest, to think it over. I know people are doing it. They just buy a bigger space, okay? And that limits them to, if they have a specific budget, that's not super, that they can buy everything. But just temporarily, what we did, because we weren't sure what house to build, we wanted to get to know the land first before we made a decision and what's the best position to build. We bought a bus, and from the temporarily place to live in, to sleep in, it became a kind of permanent stamping ground, which is a different story. But it started as a temporarily stay, and you can buy a bus and have it delivered at your property for $2,500. We bought 2 buses, so we could just live on our own property without buying any permits, because you don't need to pay for a building permit if you're parking a bus on your own property. but that allows you to buy that property with space and figure out the plan to build, where to build, what to build, and sometimes even to get the finances to build. And just live in a bus. I know people, they bought beautiful property and they chose, you know what, we're gonna live in a tent, but we want this property because we have finances inside that will be available for us in a year, in 2 years, and then we can build. But then you have the space. And with space, you prevent getting neighbors next to you who are going to take away trees, making construction noise. I have a neighbor, she took like 3.5 years to complete her house. Now it's not up to me to judge, but I'm just saying, because she didn't do it on purpose to be noisy for us, but it had to do with her limited budget. So the construction team was building super slow motion. So not a team of 10 guys, but a team of 1 guy. And that is making a lot of noise like this. Dirk is making this noise with a chainsaw. So we heard construction sewing and stuff every day, but the house was not done in 10 weeks like ours was. This house was built in 10 weeks, guys, but it's a casita, so 1-person bungalow, a small house. So yeah, I'm just saying, think about it. The benefits of buying space over comfort with a ready-to-go house. If you want to live like we do, surrounded by space, everything you see here is ours. The trees, the garage, the casita, the tree that Dirk is cutting a little bit to make it a nicer shape, but also the buses. And call us crazy again, but like, we sleep really well in the buses, and we created the buses on the inside, like a nice bedroom and closet. We didn't build in shower and toilet. Why would we? Because we could use the existing house that was on the property, but we didn't also wanted to make the decision to renovate that, because that would cost us like $50,000 whatsoever, or at least. And we weren't sure if we wanted to live, long term at that position where that house is, because the existing house is really close to the road. And what I just shared, we're probably going to get neighbors across our street. And I don't think I want to be so close to the road anymore, because if there is a street full of neighbors across my street, across my house. If that makes sense, let me hear you in the comments below. Of course, I'm always here to inspire you with what I have learned. I will never state that I know everything about Costa Rica or living in Costa Rica. Yes, I'm a Costa Rica expat, but there's people living here way longer than I do, and way more than I do. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't take the effort to create videos, so I thought, I get questions anyways, let me just start a YouTube channel. And that has, of course, everything to do that I run my business online already since 2014. So if that is what interests you as well, financially, if you want to learn how to create an online business you can run from Costa Rica, work just a couple of hours per day, automate an existing business, get more exposure online, then check out definitely the description below my videos. That's of course off topic of buying land in Costa Rica or buying property in Costa Rica, but at the other hand, it has a connection together, because if you have limited finances and you think, well, I have a retirement plan, but I'm never gonna get more money than $2,000 per month, but I want to buy a bigger property, but I also need a budget to build a house within like 5 years, then it might be interested to learn how I was able to make 1.5 million with one project in 1 year online. And that sounds ridiculous, and I can never guarantee that you're gonna make it, but if you just take the time and have the interest to look into options, you might find a world of information below all my videos. Be curious enough to click my links, and if you're not, then fine, just watch my Costa Rica videos, because that's what this is all about. So I hope that you find your dream property or land in Costa Rica. Anyways, I love to hear more about that if you found it, and to celebrate with you. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching my video. This was Muriel from the Sunshine Family. Big hugs and pura vida. Ciao!